A few months back, I made a video on the middle part hairstyle and you guys loved that video. From the last few weeks, I've seen lots of people getting this flowy middle part, which is the combination of the old classic middle part and the flow hairstyle. If you have seen this hairstyle and want to get it this year, this video is for you. If you don't know me, my name is Ali, and I pretty much talk about different men's hairstyles and how to achieve a certain hairstyle step by step. So let's get started without wasting any time. If you have fades and undercuts for a while, then you will first need to grow your hair out a bit. This is because the flow middle part requires enough length and volume to achieve its signature look. Ideally, you will need to have around 8 inches on the top to achieve that flowy look. Here, I don't mean just leaving your hair entirely for months without seeing a barber. This results in a messy look and split ends, which will only cause more harm than good. So I suggest visiting a barber every 2 months while growing your hair. Once you start growing your hair, focus on letting the top of your hair grow out first. This is because for the flow middle part style, the hair on the top of your head needs to be the longest. If your hair is shorter right now, you will have to give it some time to grow. This process might take a few months depending on the current length of your hair and how long you want your flow style to be. First visit. Before you start growing your hair for the flow middle part, you need a proper foundation. I'm assuming you have 3 inches on top at the moment. On your first visit to the barbershop, explain to your barber that you're planning to grow out your hair for a flow middle part. They will help by shaping your current hair in a way that makes the growing out process easier and neater. If you're starting with short hair, your barber will taper the sides slightly and leave the top long enough to grow into a middle part. Ideally, you will want about 3 inches on top to give yourself a good starting point. If your hair is shorter than that, don't worry. Hair grows about half an inch per month, so just give it some time. Second visit. After 2 months, it is time for a second visit. By your second visit, your hair should have grown about an inch longer, which means you will have around 4 inches on top if you have started with 3 inches. This is when your barber can start giving your hair more direction. The middle part won't be fully visible yet, but they will start shaping your hair to encourage it to naturally part in the center as it grows. At this stage, ask your barber to clean up the ends and keep the sides under control, so the focus remains on the length on top. You will also want to discuss your hair care routine. Things like a lightweight conditioner to keep your hair manageable and investing in a wide tooth comb to avoid unnecessary breakage. Third visit. Now we are getting somewhere. 4 months in, you should have about 5 inches of hair on top, depending on how fast your hair grows. This is when the flow starts to take shape, and you will notice your hair naturally falling into middle part with some encouragement. At this visit, your barber might recommend layering the ends slightly to enhance the flowy look. Layers help your hair move more freely, which is very important for that effortless look. They'll also clean out the sides again and ensure everything looks balanced. This is also the time to start styling your hair more intentionally. Use a little styling cream or lightweight mousse to add texture and hold your hair without making it stiff. Comb your hair into a loose middle part while it is damp, and let it air dry for the most natural look. Fourth visit. At 6 months, your hair should be about 6 inches long on top, which is typically enough to achieve the flow middle part look. At this visit, your stylist will refine the look, shaping your hair to ensure the flow and middle part are as flattering as possible for your face shape and hair texture. They might trim the ends slightly to maintain healthy hair and prevent split ends. If your hair feels heavy or hard to manage at this stage, ask your barber about thinning it out slightly. Thinning can make thick hair more manageable while keeping the flow intact. For styling, you will want to use a bit of styling cream or pomade to define the middle part and keep everything in place. You can also experiment with a blow dryer to add volume and create a more polished look. Fifth visit. By 8 months, your hair is likely about 7 inches long on top. At this stage, your barber's job is to help you maintain the length and ensure the ends stay healthy. Since your hair is long enough, you might also notice that the sides and back have grown significantly. Depending on your preference, you can keep them longer for a more natural, laid-back vibe, or have your barber taper them slightly for a cleaner, more polished appearance. For styling, continue to use lightweight products that add texture without weighing your hair down. You can also experiment with accessories like headbands or hats to switch up your look while keeping the middle part intact. Sixth visit. After 10 months, your hair should be around 8 inches long on top. At this point, you've fully achieved the flow middle part hairstyle, and your visits to the barbershop are all about maintenance and keeping your hair healthy. Your barber will likely suggest you trimming the ends regularly to avoid split ends and keeping the sides and back neat if they are starting to feel too heavy. If you've been taking good care of your hair, you should have a glossy, healthy flow that falls naturally into the middle part. Styling. After a few months of patience and regular barber visits, you will finally have the perfect hair length for the flow middle part hairstyle. However, there's still some work to be done. To make things easier, take a shower first. This is because a flow hairstyle works best when your hair is damp. Then, let your hair air dry for a little while or gently squeeze out the extra water using a towel. Just make sure not to rub your hair with the towel because that can damage it and cause breakage. Now grab your hairbrush and start brushing your damp hair back and away from your face. Focus on brushing the top of your hair towards the back while keeping the sides and back neat. The best thing about this flowy middle part is that you don't need to part your hair from the middle. You just need to create a flowy effect that starts from the middle of your hair and goes into the sides of your head just like this one. For this, you need to add a bit of matte clay to make sure they stay in their place the whole day. You can also add a thickness spray if you have fine hair to give your hair a little natural hold. Now, just grab your blow dryer and start styling your hair in the direction of the flow. The key here is to add volume and texture, so make sure to switch between cool and warm air while drying. This will help create a natural looking movement in your hair that gives it that effortless flow vibe. At this point, you have the perfect flow middle part hairstyle. Now, some of you may be questioning, Ali, which face shapes and hair texture works best with this flowy middle part? Well, the flow middle part hairstyle works well for most face shapes, but it is particularly flattering on oval and heart-shaped faces. If you have a round face, you can add a little volume at the top to elongate your face and balance out the proportions. Your hair texture also plays a role in how the style will look on you. If you have straight hair, achieving the flow will be fairly simple. You just need to part your hair in the center and let it fall naturally. For wavy hair, the flow middle part will have a bit more texture and movement, which adds a unique touch. However, if you have thin or fine hair, use some volumizing products to add texture and volume. Now, flow middle part hairstyle might seem high maintenance, but it is actually quite easy to maintain. All you have to do is visit your barber regularly for trims. I would say roughly after 4 to 6 weeks to maintain the length and shape of your hair. And that's it. If you are growing your hair and stuck in an awkward phase, watch this video next where I have shared how to manage the awkward phase.